I really wanted to film this video without my glasses, but like I literally can't see without them.
And her name is Shae'Loren.
Hello, it is Shae'Loren, and we are back again with another book video because I love to read, and I challenged myself this year to read 12 books in 12 months. I had actually ended up finishing early and read my 12th book in November, so I'm really excited to share this summary about my favorite books of the year. I limited to my top 5, and I kind of did like a Spotify Wrapped inspired top 5 books list. And yeah, I'm really excited to share my favorites. Stay tuned to hear why these were my top 5 books. And yeah, so starting off with number 5, that is titled Blackout. It is by 6 authors: Dhonielle, Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. And this book is for like high school me, like high school Shae'Loren that wanted to walk in Barnes & Noble and see black romance novels by 6 black women. Like, this was for her. I was really gravitated towards this book, 1 because of the cover, but 2 because of like all the authors. I was like, this is interesting. I know a few of these people, but I don't know all of them. Let me check this out. So getting into like a quick summary of the book without giving anything away, there is a blackout in New York, and this story follows, I believe, 6 couples during this blackout, or not couples, but 6 relationships during this blackout, and each author was responsible for like one of the relationships. So as you're reading, you could be reading about like 2 students or 2 teenagers who like were working at like the same internship, and then the next chapter could be like 2 teenagers who were at like a retirement home together. So it jumps, and I really enjoyed that because I feel like you're getting like multiple stories in one, because you are. But my only con to the story is that it ended so fast, which I feel like was very intentional, because like you don't want a blackout to like go on forever, and it's like what happens during the blackout. And yeah, I just felt like that was very intentional, but I enjoyed reading it so much that I would have liked for it to be longer. Like I said, it is like a young adult book, so it was definitely for high school me, and it was a short read, but I highly recommend it. It's super duper good, and I just feel like the stories intertwined really well together, and even though there are 6 authors, their voices intertwined very well together. Number 4 on my list, I do not have a physical copy of, and that is titled The Accidental Diva by Tia Williams. This was the 3rd book that I read by Tia Williams, and oh my goodness, it was so good. I convinced my best friend, who doesn't really like to read it, and whenever I recommend books to her, she never reads them, so I was really, really proud of this. We kind of read it together, so it was like a little book club, which was like pretty entertaining. Especially since we don't like live in the same state anymore. So yeah, highly recommend this book. This book is about 2 characters, Billy and Jay. Billy works at a fashion magazine, and Jay is an up-and-coming author, and pretty much the theme of Tia Williams' books, they fall in love. But the only con to this book for me was Billy. Like, I started off really liking Billy, like, oh my god, she's so cool, she lives in New York, she's still friends with her college friends, like, she has this successful career as like a beauty editor, she gets to go to like all these cool events and get free samples. But then toward the middle, like, I really started to dislike her, and I feel like that was because of like her relationship with Jay, and like one of the big dilemmas for them was that like they came from 2 different backgrounds, and I just felt like Billy was so annoying. Like, she didn't really try to understand Jay, and in a way was pretty judgmental, and it was just kind of like, do you want to be with him or not? Like, I'm not understanding. Yeah, Billy was like the only con for me. Like I said, my best friend and I read this book. One thing I will say, not just with this book, I felt like this book was the spiciest, but all of Tia Williams' books have like a little bit of spice. If I had to compare them to a movie, it would be like Devil Wears Prada / Sex in the City. You know, that's a show. But like, obviously it's black and like black love, so it's giving you like Love and Basketball, Love Jones, Really Love. Especially with like this one in particular, because Jay was an author and was like pretty artistic in that sense. So definitely like the Love Jones vibe, because I definitely was picturing Love Jones when he was like up on the stage and like doing his work and art. So yeah, highly recommend this book. Recommend Tia Williams in general as an author. Any book by her I feel like is going to be good, and I'm really excited to see what books she comes out with in the future. Yeah. Alrighty, so the next book on my list is The Perfect Find by Tia Williams, and I actually literally love this book so very much. I didn't love it more than 7 Days in June, obviously, because 7 Days in June is my #1, but like this is definitely top 2 when it comes to Tia Williams. This book is about Jenna Jones and this guy named Eric, and Jenna also works at a magazine, but this one is like when social media was first coming out, so it's not like social media today. And I thought that that was really interesting because like even though it was like early 2000s, it still felt like really relatable, and I really enjoyed that. But Jenna and Eric pretty much worked together, and they actually met before they realized they worked together. So I don't know what it is about Tia Williams and her voice and her writing, but I feel like I'm watching a movie. Like you feel their embarrassment, and it's like just so entertaining to me. This book is also like a little spicy, and it's supposed to be a movie on Netflix with Gabrielle Union and Keith Powers, and I can literally picture both of them like killing these roles, like leaving no crumbs. And I'm literally so excited for 2022 because I'm pretty sure that's when it's supposed to come out, and I just know I'm speaking into existence that this movie is going to be like a delicious rom-com, and I'm so excited for that. So yeah, I don't want to give anything away with this book, so I think I'm just gonna stop there. Definitely check it out if you kind of want a little bit of spice, black love, and if you want to read a book before the movie comes out. Alright, book 2 on my list is Open Water by Kayla Zuma Nelson, and oh my goodness, I was gravitated to this book because of the cover, so let's just take a moment of silence for that. Like, it's so pretty, oh my goodness. But this book is number 2 for me because I feel like it really challenged me. I've never read a book that was written the way that this book was written. Like, it literally feels like you're reading poetry. And I was just like so confused at first. I was like, okay, like when is this story gonna start? Like I thought it was just kind of like a flashback at first. I don't know. But I was really confused, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this book. But I feel like this book like forced me to actively pay attention like while reading. Like I couldn't like zone out for a bit because then I would have missed what happened, and I didn't want to miss what happened. But it's pretty much a modern love story that is based in London, and you're following 2 people that are like both artists in different forms. He's a photographer and she's a dancer, and you're just following their love story. They overcome like distance and trauma, and it's just really, really interesting, and I didn't want to put it down. I recommended it to my mom and she absolutely loved it, and I'm really excited to like read future works by Caleb because I just know that they're going to be deliciously good. One of my favorite parts about this, I feel like it was one so relatable because black love, but it also really touched on like black identity as well. And I think that that's so important because the experiences that black people face strongly impact the way that we view the world, but also the way that we go about relationships and living and surviving. And I think that Caleb expresses that in like a really beautiful way. I appreciate him for that. So 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Would be #1 if Tia Williams did not have me on a chokehold all 2021. Alright, so my top book on this list and my absolute favorite book for probably a while, like I feel like it will hold the #1 spot in like favorite books for a while. 1, because it's a good book, but 2, because it introduced me to Tia Williams, is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This book was so good, like I could not put it down. I recommended it to my mom, recommended it to my 2 best friends, and I'm just like, you guys have got to read this book. Like there's no reason for this book to be so good. Kind of like Open Water, I came across 7 Days in June because I would think I was like shopping at Barnes & Noble, and the cover is just like so freaking pretty to me, and I'm like, what is this? And it was like the little, well not little, but the Reese's Book Club section, and it just caught my eye. And then I found out that it was by a Black author, and I started to like read the back of the book, and I was like, wait a minute, this sounds really, really good. So 7 Days in June is about, again, two characters. I feel like, you know, there's a trend here with Tia Williams and her writing, and I feel like, you know, if you have something that works, like, why switch it up? Like, it's working. I could read books like this over and over again by you and not complain. But it's about Eva and Shane Hall. Eva and Shane have a history that we don't really know about in the beginning, but we gradually learn more and more about as the book progresses. And Shane and Eva are kind of like, not kind of, the book portrays them as soulmates, and you pick up on that pretty quickly, but you really pick up on it at the conference that they are both speaking at when Shane walks in, who is like this big time author. Eva is also an author, but she's struggling to like write the next book in her series, and you kind of just like feel the connection on the stage. Like, everyone kind of senses that something is up with them. And we later find out that Shane returned because he's really working on healing himself and like being a better person, but he couldn't really do that without addressing his past, and he needed to like see Eva and like ask for her forgiveness and explain why things happened the way that they happened. In the story, we're following them in the present, but we're also seeing the truth of the past unravel. And I hate when books and movies are predictable. Like, no one wants to waste their time on something that's predictable, and I can honestly say with this book, I really, truly, honestly never knew what was about to happen next. And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because I was like, wow, I did not see that one coming. So if you want a spicy Black love story that also touches on like trauma and heartbreak, then this one is for you. I hope that this one is going to be made into a movie as well, because I think that it would be a really good movie. And at this point, just turn all of Tia Williams' books into movies, because the public would like to see it. That is it for my super quick and short summary of my top 5 books of 2021. I hope that my book list of 2021 with all the 12 books that I read and my top 5 list that was Spotify rap inspired can both inspire you to read more books this upcoming year, or like just give you some book recommendations, because I don't know, like sometimes it's so hard for me to like find new books. Like, I hate when I get in the rut of like not being able to find new books. Start posting more videos, so I hope that if you enjoy this video, you decide to stick around and maybe check out my other 2 videos that I have up, or just interact with me by like commenting and subscribing. And yeah, I'm really excited for 2022. This will definitely go up before 2022, and I'm just wishing you a very happy holidays and a happy new year. Again, thanks for watching, and bye.
Thank you for watching, and subscribe to her channel, and bye.